Hey guys, Scott with The Average Joe's Armory, the channel for The Average Joe, and today we continue our saga on Remington's shotguns of the 1900s. Now we just finished up our first mini-series on Remington's first pump-action shotguns, and today we're going to start a mini-series on Remington's first auto-loading or semi-automatic shotguns. Now in this series we're going to be focusing on three main models: the Model 11, the Model 1148, and the Sportsman's 58. We're also going to talk about a couple of variations of those as well. But before we dig too deep into the Model 11 today, we also want to give a shout out to our founding father, John F. Browning, who invented, designed, and created the first semi-automatic shotgun. So let's go back to 1898 when that took place and tell a little story. So John F. Browning actually went to Winchester first because he had worked out a few deals with them before on different rifles, guns, and things like that. However, in this case, surprisingly, he did not work out a deal with Winchester and decided to pack up and leave. Then he went over to Remington, America's oldest gun manufacturer, from 1816, and decided to propose the same design. Now, believe it or not, as he was actually waiting in the office lobby to meet with the president of Remington, the president actually had a heart attack and passed away that same day, so a deal was not made. Third, Browning decided to go overseas to Belgium and actually met with FN, Fabrique Nationale, and there he actually was able to work out a deal. And at that point, the first semi-automatic shotgun, known as the Browning A5 or Auto 5, was built, and it changed the world. So after that, Browning came back to America and met with Remington now that things were back in order. And in 1905, they were able to come out with the Remington Autoloading shotgun, which not only was Remington's first semi-automatic shotgun, but also America's first semi-automatic shotgun, which is pretty exciting. So that's basically how it came to be. Thank you, Mr. Browning, for all of your designs, inventions, and creations. They truly have changed the world. But now, today, let's just dive right into the Model 11. So today, we actually have a 1906. Now, you heard me say that they started making them in 1905, and if this is a 1906, it's a pretty early model. Specifically, this one's actually in the first 10,000 that were produced. Now, from 1905 all the way to 1947, they made over 850,000 of these. So definitely didn't skimp on the production. They made quite a few of them, right? Now, they made a lot of different types, right? Different barrel sizes, different gauges, different grades, different little things that kind of differentiate them, right, as most guns are. Now, this one in front of us today, it's a 1906, so it's one of the earlier models. A couple things that show us that it's an earlier model is that it's got the knob stock. It also has the safety that's in the trigger guard. And those are like the main features that you look for in the pre-1911 models, and those were called the auto-loading shotgun. Now in 1911, they changed the name to the Model 11, and those have a little bit different stock. And then eventually they actually went with a cross-bolt safety, which is a little bit safer, easier to access, and honestly a little bit more reliable too. Taking a look at other things to look for is some of them have checkering on the stock and forend. This one does. They've got just other little unique things, types of wood, different things on the buttstock, just different little things that kind of differentiate them, especially because they were made from 1905 all the way to 1947. Now, this was a very popular design. So we already spoke that FN made it, Remington made it, Savage also adopted it, and there was a couple other gun manufacturers out there that adopted it as well. What makes this thing special is that it's actually a recoil-operated semi-auto shotgun. It's hammerless. It also is side ejecting, which was popular. And on top of that, it was a takedown model. So not only could you take it down to clean it, but you could also interchange certain parts. It was also easier to take down to transport. There's a lot of benefits of that. So those are just some of the features and benefits of this model. And again, it was the first of its time, so it was pretty revolutionary. On top of that, with this model, another interesting fact is that like gangsters back in the 1920s and 1930s, this was actually their gun of choice. Specifically, let's be honest, it's a shotgun, it packs a great punch, and now it's semi-automatic, right? So they can quickly load, they can quickly reload it. A lot of times they chop the barrel, so it was more mobile, easier to transport. Another interesting fact is Remington during World War II, they actually produced 65,000, give or take, of these and sent them overseas to soldiers, and they were used over there. And those actually can be identified with a bomb and a flame, or a flaming bomb as they say, on the barrel. So that'd be right up here on the barrel. And if you get your hands on one of those, I would definitely keep my hands on one of those because they're going to be worth a little bit more than the traditional ones. So with that said, that is the Model 11. It's been around for a long time, 1905 all the way to 1947, so it definitely stood the test of time. Here we've got a 1906 in front of us, and this one shoots great. I've only shot target loads through it, but I've never had any issues. It shoots like a champ, and it can be used, for sporting plays, hunting, pretty much anything that you'd want it for. All right, guys, well, that concludes the first part of our mini-series talking about the Model 11 or the autoloading shotgun. I'm excited to do part 2, which is on the Model 1148, and actually a couple variations, so you'll have to watch that video to see what those variations are. But as always, we love doing the research, we love shooting the video, and most importantly, we love sharing it with all of you. If you like this kind of content, please take the time to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you can get notifications for all of our future content. We really do appreciate your support. So with that said, this is Scott signing off with the Average Joe Armory, and until then, we'll see you next time.